Hello everyone, my name is Aiden Keller and I will be presenting my ALE Capstone, Nourishing Knowledge, Optimizing Therapist and Family Education in the Implementation of the SOS Feeding Approach. I would also like to give thanks to my site mentor, Jamie Haley, for leading me through these 14 weeks. This ALE was inspired by my Level 2 fieldwork at the Kids Center for Pediatric Therapies in Louisville, Kentucky. Occupational therapists and speech-language pathologists trained in the SOS approach host a 12-week feeding program twice a year and implement these SOS principles. Before I begin my presentation, I would like to share that I met with Dr. Kay Toomey to discuss copyright policies and requesting permission to cite her for the duration of this project. According to Dr. Kay Toomey, the founder of the SOS approach to feeding, the SOS approach focuses on increasing a child's comfort level by exploring and learning about the different properties of food. The program allows a child to interact with food in a playful, non-stressful way. Feeding disorders affect approximately 30 to 45% of the pediatric population and are often linked to sensory modulation and processing disorders. The acronym SOS stands for Sequential Oral Sensory, reflecting the developmental sequence of feeding skills from both oral motor and sensory perspectives. This process is guided by observable feeding steps and behavioral indicators used within the SOS-based interventions. The purpose of this applied leadership experience was to bridge the knowledge gap between therapists and caregivers participating in the SOS program. While Dr. Toomey provides wonderful and extensive resources and educational materials, this local pediatric outpatient clinic identified that many parents struggle to understand and apply these strategies at home. Therapists also observed that caregivers often experience low engagement and difficulty comprehending key SOS principles due to the volume and complexity of information provided during the education sessions. With that being said, the goal of this project was to simplify the educational content and emphasize the key concepts aligned with each week's theme of the 12-week program. Throughout the project, I participated in weekly multidisciplinary meetings, family education sessions, and developed accessible resources for caregivers to use at home. Objectives from this ALE included creating weekly PowerPoint presentations aligned with therapy topics and collaborating with therapists to determine which core materials best supported family learning and carryover. This capstone incorporated elements of education, leadership, and program development. Materials created included a weekly intake form for caregivers to provide feedback and for therapists to track the therapy progress, which is the first photo in the methods section. I also created a motivational handout to encourage children's participation in the 10 steps to eating process at home, which is the image below the intake form. Project outcomes included 10 educational PowerPoints with QR codes linking to digital copies of all the PowerPoints, handouts, and an updated 12-week outline aligning resources to weekly content for the therapist to have access to. There's also revised caregiver materials featuring visual enhancements for accessibility. Additionally, Zoom meetings were implemented to allow caregivers to observe feeding sessions and strengthen engagement. Feedback from caregivers indicated that the revised materials improved understanding, reduced feelings of overwhelm, and enhanced confidence in implementing these SOS strategies at home. Therapists also noted increased caregiver participation and follow-through between sessions. In conclusion, the SOS approach to feeding is well supported by research, emphasizing the importance of family-centered care and education. Empowering parents and caregivers with clear, manageable resources promotes confidence and continuity of therapy beyond the clinic, ultimately supporting the child's feeding journey. Within the results section of the project and deliverables, I included a photo of another 10 steps to eating handout, and below are 3 separate pictures of PowerPoint slides that I created from the 10 weekly PowerPoints and its content. Thank you all for taking your time to watch my presentation.